Hi there, everybody. Kevin, GTK Schulthies, great teacher, Kevin. And on today's book review from our life leadership series, I am going to review the five love languages of children. Yes, this one is part of the five love languages series. I don't have it with me because I have read it, but I keep all the copies I keep getting, I tend to just keep giving away to people as needed anytime I sense that somebody can use it. Because the five love languages, the entire series, the main one is a purple cover. A lot of guys are scared of it because it looks girly, and and it's got a couple of it has a couple holding hands on the beach or something. I forget what it looks like. Maybe I'll slide it in here. I'll import the picture. But the five love languages basically, in general, talks about filling people's love tank or appreciation tank or feeling of self worth, however you want to put it. We'll just call it love, feeling loved, and how you can fill somebody's love tank. And there's typically five different ways that can happen, and one of them is the sense of touch. So somebody that means somebody really likes to be touched, stroked, fist bumped, hugged, back rubs, touching the hair, pat on the back, whatever. And then in intimate couple settings, in marriage, that'd be your sexual activity and stuff as well, but it doesn't have to include that. And then in regards to children, some children just love, sit on your lap, or they love to be held as you read to them. Some children are anti-touch, right? But some children just crave to be touched. So that's how you fill their love tank, or your significant other, or even a friend. You can fill people's love tank with touch. And the whole part of the languages is there's five that typically you can speak. So you speak typically one or two that are stronger. You're familiar with them. That's how you feel loved. Is when somebody speaks that, you filter all the other things through these filters. And if you're not getting one of these languages that you need, you actually can feel unloved, unappreciated, whatever. And then the other four languages, even if somebody's pouring them onto you, if you're not receiving love in the language that you speak, those other four can be empty. So that's in general. And then the five love languages for children is amazing because it takes those five love languages and it puts it into perspective of raising children. So any adult that knows children, has children, wants to have children, was a child, should read this. So therefore, everybody, I truly recommend this. I'm a single guy. I'm 34 years old, and I'm an uncle though, and that's why I was very specifically reading this one. Even though I've read five love languages, I wanted to read this because I have children in my life that I want to be way more effective at with what limited time I have with them in life in general. What limited time I have, I want to be very effective at filling their love tank. Because it goes on to say how parents, without filling out their love tank, children can grow up and react in a lot of ways that are frustrating, and they're acting out, they're rebelling, and different even forms of correction will have less and less effectiveness unless their love tank is filled. And yet, and at the same time, if you fill their love tank, they'll act out less. There'll be less issues in general. But at the same time, when you do have to apply correction, that correction will be way more effective when they have a full love tank. They're able to comprehend things better, and they're able to think through things logically, way more appropriately when their love tank is full. Um, so it's very important to keep their love tank full, and it even goes into things when you have issues of single parents, parents of divorce, um, families that parents that just don't get the love languages thing, and it's years later, maybe into adolescence, and you think, oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't know this stuff. I never was taught this stuff. Majority of parents don't even know this stuff, and within literally a day, you read this, you read the summaries of each of the five love languages, and you start applying it, you will see results probably almost immediately, almost guaranteed. It has changed my life. Literally, the main book, when I learned about the five love languages, it blew my mind. I literally had to phone even my mother, and literally like hundreds of relationships, hundreds of confrontations, and situations ran through my brain, and I started filtering it through the five love languages, and I totally realized when things were working, when things weren't working, and it made so much sense. So I had to actually phone up my mom and, hey mom, I'm totally sorry, man. I'm this type of love languages. I know you speak this way. My mom loves speaking the acts of service, like gifts. She was pouring me out all these little gifts. I couldn't care less about gifts, right? Some children couldn't care less, and yet on the other side, some people love gifts. Man, they don't care about how much you touch them. They don't care about how much time you spend with them, or you read them, or you do stuff for them. They're like, man, where's the gift? And then on top of that, they value the gift, and it can be a pet rock, and they keep it on their shelf, and they talk about it, or you bring them something from somewhere else, and they cherish it. They're acts of, or they love gifts. Another love language is yet we covered touch. Another one is acts of service, doing something for the child, making them lunch, or doing little things for them. They totally appreciate that, and they remember that. That's how they filter if you love them or not, is actually serving them somehow. And then another one is quality time. Sometimes just gifts mean nothing if you don't actually spend time with your child. And of course, all these you do need, you need all of them, but and children will go through stages where they actually say it's actually harder to find out what a child's love language is, and they give tests, and they give a lot of good recommendations at the different age brackets of how you might be able to discern what your love languages is. And then the fifth love language, yeah, quality time. Sorry about that. Affirmation, words of affirmation, right? Some kids just crave, and adults just crave attention. They need attention, um, or at least the words, right? Like whether it's your eyeballs, um, and you're telling them a great job, you can do it. Whether it's just your words, I knew you could do it. You're awesome. You can do anything. Just words of affirmation, right? Technically, everybody needs those, and nobody can have enough of those. But some require that more than others. You can give them gifts. You can give them all kinds of stuff. And let's say you forget the words of affirmation. Those other four ways of showing love mean very little to them if you're not maybe saying I love you, you're special, you're an amazing kid, I'm glad I had you, you're the best, I'm blessed to have you, right? Sometimes the rest just mean nothing, right? And for me, my words of affirmation are fairly low. Um, you know, you do an act of service for me, and I think about that for a long time. I really appreciate that. I know if you do something for me, I think about that for a while. I know that you put effort in, yet words to me are very empty, right? It's like, no, show me you love me, not don't tell me you love me. But at the same time, I appreciate words of affirmation. Everybody does, and especially when you're in a relationship, a husband-wife relationship, nobody can speak the best words of affirmation other than your spouse. Nobody can tear down a man if the whole world can be against the man, but if the woman is for her spouse and builds him up, nothing can tear him down. And at the same time, the whole world can prop a man up, and yet if he's being torn down and not getting words of affirmation from his wife, the world can't filled him up and he's still empty. So words of affirmation are really huge. But long story short, every adult should read this book. Adults should also read the other book, Five Love Languages, just general. Men, if you're, don't be afraid of that pink cover. This one's a little bit more neutral, good for kids if you leave it around and they see that you're reading it. This is good, kind of a little bit nicer for parents. Men, they even created Five Love Languages for men, brown book and stuff, so you don't have to feel worried. And I'm sure it'll take you a long way. I haven't read it, but that's in our system too. I know that there's also a little tiny version of the Five Love Languages. You could read that in a matter of 30 minutes as well. So the whole series, highly, highly, highly recommended. And you can check us out and pick that up in the Life Leadership series and live the life you always wanted. And I would highly recommend the Five Love Languages in addition to the personality type studies and cultural type studies, right? And even in the faith side of things, the spiritual gifts. Those are topics, they all connect together and they all layer on top of each other to give you a better understanding on how to love people better, how to encourage people, how to be a better friend, brother, son, mother, daughter, everything like that. So highly, highly recommended. Five Love Languages. Go get that.